Welcome to Negocios with BISILA BOKOKO, Business with BISILA BOKOKO. It doesn't matter English or Spanish, but today we're going to speak in English. And I would love to introduce you to my dear friend, Sergio Orozco, which is the founder and CEO of Sergio Orozco Design. So we're going to speak about the world of design, which is a fascinating world. And through his eyes, it's going to be even more fascinating. Welcome, Sergio.
Thank you, Visila. It is truly wonderful that thanks to the amazing technology of today, which is one of the greatest things that connect people today, connectivity, we can see you and hear you and talk to you and have this wonderful dialogue about design, which is my passion.
Yes, I know. But before we go into the passion part, I would like you to tell us a little bit about your background and your arrival to United States, because I know that a lot of people have dreams, and I know that you're a dreamer, and I would love to inspire people around the world to see that things are possible. So tell us about how did you start it, how you found your passion and your background.
Wonderful. Well, before I talk about my background, there are a few things that shaped my life. And the first one were my parents. I think that if you have good parents, and you should always have great parents, they are the ones that propel you, the ones that entice you, the ones that give you this sense of, yes, you can do it. So my parents, my mother and my father were extraordinary people who gave me everything I wanted to know. But I reached the point where I needed to know other things. And they said, do you know what? You need to fly and find your own answers. We will give you all the support, all the love. And if you get tired, you can always come back home. This is your place. Just go, enjoy the ride. Later on in life, I had a mentor, a spiritual mentor, who told me there are miracles. And you have to believe in miracles. And I wasn't too crazy about believing in miracles, but I thought that it would be a possibility. He says, yes, there are miracles, but they only happen to people that get up early in the morning to work. So that was an element that I said, okay, it only happens to people that get up early in the work. So from there on, I started to really get up early in the morning and go to work. And the third one was in my adulthood, about 8 years ago, when I met my guru in Asia, in China, in Xi'an, and he said to me, let it flow. And that really completed this cocoon of information and knowledge that I needed to know. So just let it go, let it flow. But just make sure you don't fall asleep when you are letting the flow, because you might end up in the Niagara Falls. So those three things, I think, really impacted my life immensely. And I became who I am because of those three things: my family, my spiritual mentor, and my Buddhist teacher. Where I come from a small city in Colombia called Popayán. It's a city founded by the conquerors in the 1500s. So it's a very old city. And I always was in love with Europe. I had this idea of Marco Polo, of traveling, of exploring. And thanks to my family, I was able to study music and then go to Italy to play violin. And I did so, and I fell in love with Italy because Italy is the country of design, but I didn't know I was going to be a designer yet. And then I went to France. I studied design as well. I studied drawing. And I found out that la vie est très belle. The sense of savoir vivre was in France, and I lived in Germany as well. And that really forged me on the engineering side of design. The Germans are the best engineering people in the world. And within those three countries, Italy, France, and Germany, I found my new call, which was design.
Wow. And what you would say that is behind that designer career?
Behind that design career is an inner desire to communicate, to dialogue, to express ideas that could be. I was a musician first, and I always play other people's music, and I try to compose it and to go too well. But when I switched from music to design, which it was actually a very nice move, it was a lateral move from music to design, I found that music was my first love. And I will always love music, and I will have music in my life. But I have found my new love, And my new love, my true love, was furniture. I have always enjoyed looking at furniture and taking things apart when I was young in my hometown, and then in Europe, and then in Italy and France. And I got very well acquainted with furnishings. And because furnishings were easy to have, I became interested to draw design. Later on, of course, I developed a love affair, because in every life of anybody, you have certain affairs. And that love affair is with lighting. And lighting became an important part of my life, as light itself is probably the most important element in interior design, architecture, and design. So those three things together as well, music, furniture, and lighting, are my passion. At this moment, I still play music, but design is my addiction.
Wow. And how these three loves are combined in your craft now, right now in your work?
I really don't have an answer that could be satisfactory. It is a natural progression, it's a natural expression of the things I learned through them. So I would say it is a common denominator between the three of them is about beauty. Mm-hmm. And if you can appreciate beauty, and if you can appreciate details, then you can travel from music to furniture to lighting to flatware to silverware. We do so many things, and it's a beautiful trip because it's well traveled. The concepts of design, architecture, philosophy, and the ability and the knowledge of design allows you to get closer to people. It is. I use it as a bridge. I think that design itself could be unique, wonderful, spectacular. It might be in a museum, but to me, I feel that the design, the best designs, belong in your house, belong in a place where you have nurture, love, honor, and all these beautiful things that romanticize the concept of life. So furniture, to me, my inner feeling is that furnishings should be part of your refuge, your home, the place where you nest and then your life blossom.
In the 21st century, what will be your definition of design itself and also luxury?
Beautiful and interesting question. Design to me on this century, it is a new language. Actually, it's a language that has been for many, many centuries. If you look around yourself and if you look at anywhere you look today, everything is being touched by a designer. Your clothing, your hair, your furnishings, your home, cars, airplanes. Anywhere you go, even your pencil has been touched by someone who thought and executed ideas, articulated with ideas to make the product better and to reach this sense of democratic design where everybody could use it. So I think that the flavor that we bring as designers into the world, into the marketplace, it is something that is combined between the inner feeling from a designer who wants to say and do something unique, and all the other plethora of ideas, concepts, and design that already exist. What makes it unique is the sense of culture. What makes it unique and what makes it new in that cycle of new and old is that element of surprise, that element of emotions, because we are designing for people. And when you forget people when creating new objects and new design, and you forget it, you fail. So to me, the most important connection is that of people and object, that intrinsic relationship between those two. You, for example, might have a pair of glasses that you love and you keep it for a long, long time, or a t-shirt that you love for a long, long time, or a chair, and you always attach it. It reminds you of something of your childhood, or reminds you something of some sense of nurturing, or some sense of family, or some sense of happiness. Design can cure a lot of issues for people. And lighting itself is the best antidote to depression.
Absolutely. And about luxury, because I know that in your world, luxury and design maybe go in alignment?
Luxury is a personal definition to me, but the personal definition of luxury to me today should be simplicity. It should be a sense of clarification that a lot of ornamentation might not be needed. And I'm a purist, so I feel that the less we do on decorating an object or a home, the more the personality of the person comes out to float. So I think simplicity, but with one particular requirement. Simplicity must be accompanied, in order to be called luxury, with great amount of detail, with an incredible respect for the materials and for the impeccable execution of the design. But luxury in itself, if you will say what's luxury today, I would say freedom. Freedom to execute in all levels, in all prices, and all around the world. By the way, the world used to be round, according to Copernicus and Galileo. But because of this technology today, and because of these designs, and because this language of design that is spoken in many places, but very few people can speak the language of design, is understood anywhere. So the world to me is kind of flat now. Because anybody can connect, anybody can talk, anybody can add, anybody can subtract. And at the end of the day, the world has been expanded because of the internet. And
Absolutely.
The internet is one of my greatest inspirations as well.
Well, we are here with Sergio Orozco speaking about design, luxury, and many concepts. But I would like to continue with this conversation asking you, are you a businessman?
Oh, I would like to be a businessman. Of course, every designer dreams to be a businessman, but I don't think so. I think that I'm pretty romantic about what I do. So my feelings, my emotions come first. And designing is a very lonely endeavor, BISILA. It is one and where you go in your own little world, in your own little cocoon, and you draw. It's a piece of paper, blank paper, and a pencil. And the ideas start to emerge, to evolve. And eventually, something makes sense because it's a combination of the modus vivendi, the culture of the moment, the materials available, and the thought that you had this idea. And at that moment, after you have done all this amazing work by yourself, that is very close proximity with your own, has to be blasted out through the manufacturing process. And that is when the designer meets his greatest enemy or his greatest alliance. You need to make this product produce, because I'm an industrial designer. We don't make one of a kind, we make many. We have to face the manufacturing. And the manufacturing, I always want to say thank you to all these manufacturers around the world that allowed our designs to exist, because without them, we couldn't make them. That those of our designers need to understand that at the end of the day, although design seems to be an elite, design seems to be a unique element that is for very few, the result, the final application is very social, it's very democratic. And we want to reach as many people with design as we can through the objects that we design.
Can a design surpass nature?
No, I think it's almost impossible. I would like to go along with Da Vinci, where he said that nature was his greatest inspiration. And I don't think the hand can surpass the beauty, the immense beauty that nature is. There is one thing that we can do, not to compete with nature, but to extend the feeling of nature. And that is to create a dialogue with the end user. So if we can come closer to a relationship with the end user, with our products, with our objects, I think we have continued, not being pretentious, a little bit of what nature has done with the rest of the world. And that is to maintain the sense of cohesivity, dialogue, and love with humanity.
And Sergio, can you share with us some of the current trends in the design world?
Well, what is good in this moment, this chaotic moment, is probably one of the most difficult times in the history of humanity. So many frictions and COVID and economic collapses. People tend to find that there is some hope, that there is some possibility of making better things.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that elegance, harmony, and prosperity, if you put them together, prevail. And the sense of elegance, you see, although people have become more casual, people still dress very beautiful. Look at you. They still put a little bit of attention about themselves looking good. And I think in terms of the harmony, I think within the confines of your own home, now with all these beautiful products designed by so many people, you start to find, this was a good time to introspect with the COVID, and people did a lot of things for the home. It really helped my business. This created a revolution. This created a movement towards making your nesting ground, your home, your refuge, a better place. And prosperity, I think all of us inside our heart have this inner feeling that things are going to change and things will change. So when you talk about trends, the trends in the entire world, the best trends are the trends that don't have age, the trends that don't offend the grandmother and don't get the child upset. Something in the middle. But my personal appreciation and my personal idea of today's trends are towards a sense of calmness, a sense of simplicity, and a sense of security, which is probably at this moment the best element that we can up to, the best element that you dream with. So those three probably summarize the trends. In terms of my personal work, I'm a minimalist. I like less things is more. And I think that the quality of the things that you acquire are very important.
You have work everywhere in the planet, but I think Asia has a huge influence in your life. I met you in New York many, many years ago. It's 21 years ago. Could you believe that? You remember that encounter? And I know that you spend a lot of time in Asia and Europe and US markets, but what difference do you see when it comes to your business in between all these markets that you work with?
Well, every country has its own culture, and because of the culture, the massive design, the democratic design that we want to bring to them may not fit well, because different signals, different symbols, and different uses. Some of the homes in Asia, for example, very quick example, the ceilings are much lower. So if you do a big chandelier and it's very long, it will not sell. In Europe, people have high ceilings, very clean, and they prefer more contemporary designs. In America, we have an immense sea of possibilities. We have so many looks by East Coast, West Coast, Center, North. So I think the United States, in my personal point of view, is the best platform for my designs or for my team to execute ideas, because it's a great variety. But definitely Japan and China have influenced a great deal of my designs. I do have products that have some small elements of Asian design. And some of those designs are beautiful, very clean, very elegant, and most of all, timeless. When you talk about the world, as I said before, the market is very flat. When you go to a certain middle level of design, actually those designs work well in Hong Kong, in China, in Tel Aviv, in New York, in South America. And those are the ones that every designer dreams of designing, because those are the ones that reach the largest amount of people. And design should be a social endeavor.
Listening to you, I just feel thrown to ask you this question. Is your job spiritual?
It is, I think it is spiritual in a sense, because I have nurtured my life with a lot of spirituality from the beginning. I would like to say that I embrace immensely Buddhism, the idea of the now, and leaving behind a lot of the past. And I have read some great books that said the future doesn't equal the past. So you need to, at one point, cut that umbilical cord with the past. You come from this place, you come from this place, you don't know this, you don't know that. Since the world is flat and the internet has made it so accessible to all of us, we need to take a different posture and say, it can be done, like my family said. I'm going to execute it, and I'm going to bring to life, I'm going to bring to market products that respect the culture in which I am, because I'm now in America, but I could be in Europe. So I think differently when I'm in Europe or when I'm in China, and I'm going to do a justice to the materials, to the process, to the textures, to the manufacture, because you cannot make things that cannot be manufactured. It will be a failure. And most important, at the end of the day, it has to reflect a commercial transaction for our clients and for the users. And they have to say, my God, this is a good value and it is beautiful. And those two things combined are the secret of success.
So now to conclude, what advice you will have for young designers, from people who really feel this passion as you?
I was once a young designer, and I read a great book in which it said that Albert Einstein was a great poet. So I read some books about Albert Einstein. I find out that he is not only a great physicist, but that he can write things extraordinarily beautifully. And one of them was about curiosity, which really awakened my senses. If you keep your eyes open, if you can study everything that is around you, inspiration is one arm away. So for young people, I would say, stay curious.
Beautiful.
Research and be humble. I would say that if I would summarize for a young person what success is, aside of all the other incredible words that are in the dictionary, is discovery, is curiosity, and is humbleness. And I think if you do those things together well, you arrive to a level where there is a romance, that there is a respect for humanity, a respect for emotions, a respect for feelings, and you start to add and subtract. So yes, we're industrial designers. We have to deal with the hard materials and manufacturing, production. It has to have a special price, and it has to have not only a special price, but be beautiful. It has to be packaged in a certain way. But don't forget the element of human beings. And most important of all, aside from being creative, aside from being addicted to design, do not forget your family. Do not forget your teachers. And be grateful. And add a little bit of emotions and humor in your designs. Let's make it fun.
Wow, 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 wow. I think these advices are not only for designers, I think it's for everyone. And I think the way you perceive design and business is humanizing it. And I love it. And I think that you brought this into the table, the curiosity, the humbleness, the creativity, but more than anything else, the love. No, this is what I have been breathing through the whole interview. And I definitely would like to express my gratitude for your time today. I know that you're super busy, but you give us this time with us. And I think this interview will inspire a lot of people. So thank you so much, Sergio.
My pleasure. Thank you to you, BISILA, for making our voice known and to bring these thoughts and ideas to young people. They are the future of our world, and they are the future of our design, curiosity, and embodiment of great things made by young people. This is the time.
Yes, is it? Is the time now.
Thank you so much for your time. I know you're a busy girl too. You look fantastic. And you have done an immense job with all these voices that come from different places that at one point or another might touch someone somewhere. And that in itself is glory.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, my friend. And I'm pretty sure that you're going to touch a lot of hearts. You're touching mine right now. And I'm very blessed to have you in my life.
Okay, my darling. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. All my love.
Thank you. Thank you, Sergio.
Ciao, ciao.